unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. As we always say, we want to help you win, and we do that by engaging with you. Reach out to our hotline, 813-750-0550.
Used to call me on my cell phone.
We love it when the hotline rings. Give us a call or a text. It's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. Also, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at the newly redesigned consumerqb.com. Also, links to previous shows, all of our social connects. That is, we would love to connect with you on Twitter at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook as well. We've got a great lineup for you today. Attorney Millicent Athanason back in studio. Welcome back, Millie.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you, and you do such a great job of researching topics that we think might be topical for our show. And today we're going to talk about grandparent visitation and custody rights.
Correct.
Awesome. Very cool. I like that. Plus, we're going to talk some marketing as well. So kind of talk about why, market segmentation, demographic segmentation and marketing is so important as well. We're going to kind of talk with that. Plus, we got Sean Febre on the line. Sean Febre is the owner of Febre Frameworks, and he's quite a marketer as well. And Sean, welcome to the show.
What's up, B-Rye? How you doing?
Hey, buddy. Doing great, my friend, and looking forward to talking about marketing with you and all things going on with the real estate photography industry, drone photography. I love getting those pictures back. Your team does a great job.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, man. So good stuff. Great lineup for you today. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning is the sponsor of this segment. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. They're a local minority women-owned business right here in Tampa Bay. They're cleaning our real estate properties. They do a great job. They are COVID-19 certified for infection prevention and control. They offer a $15 off as well for any first-time radio family that reaches out. We'd love to have you connect with Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and you can take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we got some great listings here in Tampa Bay. How about this vacant lot in South Tampa? If you're thinking about building a home, or maybe you know a home builder, 5510 South Elkins in South Tampa. You're literally minutes to downtown. This is built on your own lot, zoned residential, Ballast Point community. 12 minutes to downtown Tampa, 4 minutes over to the Yacht Club right here in South Tampa. Great opportunity. Also, we got some residential properties listings for sale as well. 13204 FAWN Lily Drive. This one's out in Riverview. It's a gated area, gated community. East Hillsborough County. Great opportunity. 4511 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 5 bath, 3-car garage, resort-style amenities, waterfront right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right. So let's go to the phones. Let's start with Sean Febre, Febre Frameworks, longtime friend of the program, taking great real estate photography shots and expanding your company. What's new on your end, Sean?
Well, we recently expanded into Miami and Naples, and to segue into marketing here, now expanding into these new territories, we have to find a way to capture new customers. So we've been taking a look at a lot of different avenues here on how to do that, how to break our competition's customer loyalty, because essentially us going into a new territory, we have to get the realtors in that territory who are utilizing a different photography company to break that loyalty. So there's a number of ways we've been trying to do it. We've done some A/B testing in Miami and in Naples, where in Miami we're doing your first photo shoot will be free. And then in Naples we're doing, 50% off. And then in Jacksonville, recently what we're trying is 10% off. So we're using all the data that we're acquiring from those 3 campaigns to see which one works best. And the way we've been keeping track of it is through a Facebook pixel, and this Facebook pixel is amazing, man. If nobody is or if you haven't used it yet, make sure that you do. It's just a little bit piece of code that you put into a Google Site Tag Manager, which you have to set up prior. And you can track which campaigns are working, where they're visiting. You can even track the single user. And then what you can do with that information is you can create a lookalike audience of those visitors. So what Facebook will do is it will take all the visitors to a certain page. Let's say it's a landing page for the Miami region. Well, it will take all the visitors that visited that page and performed a certain action, and it will duplicate their interests, their employment, their demographics, and it will find similar audiences to those people, and then it will retarget them with the Facebook ads. So that's one avenue we've been taking. Another one is we've been doing marketing automation. So if you've ever visited our website, you'll see that something pops up. It's subscribe and get 10% off. So when somebody fills out that form, they enter our marketing automation system, which now sends them an email as soon as they fill it out with their promo code of 10% off. And it could be an existing customer or a new customer. It doesn't matter as long as they subscribe, because what that allows us to do, and some of these people that subscribe aren't existing users, but what that allows us to do is put them in our sales funnel, right? Yeah. Now we want to retarget them. So when we're utilizing the Facebook Pixel and as well as Google AdWords with remarketing campaigns, well, really it's AdRoll, but I'm going to say Google AdWords. And then they enter our retargeting campaign. So if you're ever scrolling down a website and you had just visited, say, 123.com, all of a sudden you go to abc.com and you're seeing 123.com's ads on that web page. Well, that's what we are accomplishing here. And we're seeing a good return on our ad spend by doing that. We're seeing more conversions in those areas as opposed to doing the traditional, okay, we're just going to blast out, $5,000 in Google ad spend, and let's hope they convert. So now we're hitting them from social side. We're hitting them on websites. We're hitting them, on Google itself, and it seems to be working quite well.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. It sounds like it's a unique thing that you can do. I mean, think about marketing 20 years ago versus marketing today, and how much more precise and targeted you can be. And I know, Millie, you've looked at, you had a conversation last week about demographic segmentation and marketing, and Sean was just talking about, how he's able to create lookalike audiences on Facebook. And so targeting and knowing who your target market is such a key aspect in making sure you're reaching that target market as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're wasting your advertising dollars if you don't take that approach.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So you're able to target in and especially, using video, getting creative with video. As realtors and with Sean's business as a real estate photographer, Febre Frameworks is his company, and FebreFrameworks.com is the site. Now, when you think about it, the real estate folks that are shopping online, they're clicking through. I was just on a webinar yesterday with Jessica. She's a team lead from our office at Keller Williams. She was talking about different ads that work, what's not working. We can run it through Command. We have a system called Command, which is our own proprietary type. Gary Keller years ago invested $1 billion in technology. So we have this awesome technology. But when you have a carrot, you got to use that carrot, is my point. Right, Sean? So when you're using real estate photography, how are you structuring your advertisements?
Well, what we found was the way we used to do it is that we would just spend money on appearing at the top of the page of Google. So anytime you search real estate photography, whether it be in Miami, Tampa, or Orlando, wherever, we would pop up, and it would cost us money to pop up. But what I realized is we were getting weekly visitors somewhere around 534 in the Miami metro area, but we weren't getting any appointments booked. So I've read somewhere that it takes 56 interactions with your brand prior to somebody converting. So they have to see your brand 54 times before they become a conversion.
Wow.
So then for us to utilize Facebook Pixel and also utilize AdRoll with retargeting and also Facebook ads, well, now they're seeing us over and over again, and it's going to get to the point where they're so annoyed by seeing us, they're going to say, oh, you know what, let me just give them a shot. That way I can get off their radar, in which case they won't get off our radar. And the only reason we're able to retarget is because we have implementing implemented a cookie on the website, which is what you have to do legally in order to retarget. So if they accept it, now they're in this retargeting audience that can be utilized. So as a real estate marketing company, so to speak, you can imagine how much content we have. We have so many pictures. We have so many videos. So for us, our content is never an issue. It's what we want to say with that content to our target audience that is going to drive those conversions. So I don't care if we get 100 website visitors in that area for the week, as long as we had maybe a 2 to 5% conversion rate, which is much better than having 500 visitors and a 0% conversion rate. So definitely dialing in your audience is the key to marketing anything, whether it be a service, a product, whatever it may be. So after doing extensive research and having actually a couple of people come in and teach me these platforms, how to use them, I found that this is the most effective way, and everybody should be marketing this way regardless of what your business is.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at how the dollar ad spend is going to work, what's your return, and making sure you are quick to respond. I think that's one of the things that people sometimes they get overwhelmed and they don't answer their phone right away, or at least text back and get the response. We utilize an intelligent phone system also. So if I miss a call, it automatically sends out a text message, something to the effect of, hey, I'm sorry, I'm on a call. What's the best way to connect with you? Would you prefer a text or a call back in about 45 minutes? They can give the email, and then it also gives a follow-up reminder. So there's some really cool intelligent phone systems out there that I use.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing you want to do is market so well that your fulfillment can't actually keep up. Because now we're throwing 100 new customers at you, whereas opposed to 10 that you're used to, and now you're missing all these potential conversions, these potential offline conversions where people are converting offline. They're not going to your website to buy. They're actually contacting you offline. So what you really want to also do, and a great point, Brandon, is make sure that your business is capable of taking on that new customer base. Because if not, you're going to get bad reviews. Hey, I called and I didn't get a call back until a week later, and I already found somebody else. What I've found every time I go on Google and I'm in need of a service and I call and they don't pick up, guess what? I go to the next one and I call them. Oh, they pick up? Now you have my business. Sorry, first guy, you missed out because you couldn't keep up.
Yep, exactly. We're talking with Sean Febre here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up as well, attorney Millie Athanason here, law office of Millie Athanason in studio. Stay with us when we come back. More marketing talk. Plus, we're going to talk about grandparent visitation and custody rights and some of those different challenges that you see in family law, and also the abuse. We're going to talk about different abuse word whenever you see abuse in families and how that happens with child and children, and more of that here with our legal analyst in studio, Millie Athanason, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. This carpenter is building free virtual learning desk for students in need. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550. 888-866-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to the Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Carts. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay, the official sponsor of our golf carts. They've got some great opportunities for you right here in Tampa Bay. They have the beautiful Keller Williams red golf cart that they have supplied us, and they've got the Easy Go, different types of golf carts available. They will deliver to you as well, and as you can see, the dogs love getting on the golf carts, the kids love it, and we love it. So make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here. Every day we're going to give you a little sample of some of our listings, what we're marketing actively right now. We've got 8001 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. This is a property that is in East Hillsborough County, the Riverview Sandwich Shop. There's 2 commercial buildings. There's an operating business which has an option to go or stay and convey, but there's a church in the back. So 2 buildings, 4,200 square feet, 33 parking spaces, 45 to 55,000 vehicles a day at this red light traffic corner where your building sits right on the corner. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. And we also have a residential property at 4209 Preserve Place. This is in Landsbrook in Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor area. Condo, it's an in-unit condo, beautiful property. You got a water view, pool on site, community pool, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 2,300 square feet. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, back here in studio, we got attorney Millie Athanason, Athanason Law Offices of Millie Athanason here in Tampa Bay, and also Sean Febre visiting with us as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So let's stick with the marketing theme. So marketing side of things. What do you like to see out there, Millie? What's working for you guys? And you talked about, how you can actually utilize demographic segmentation. Primarily, is it age that most people are kind of demographic when they're looking out?
Absolutely. Age is a key factor, and I think it's important for a business to understand that they need to figure out who their demographic is, what is the age range of their clients or customers, and try to target some of the advertising towards that. I personally just yesterday had a lengthy lunch with somebody that I'm retaining to help me with social media marketing. Because, obviously when I first started to practice law, we didn't have any social media. So it was, it's definitely been a learning experience at that. And now everybody uses it. And it's not just young people. People used to think, it's just the millennials that are using social media. No, grandma and grandpa are using social media too. And so I think, doing system optimization and getting on all the avenues of social media and knowing how to target your audience, I think is really key in today's marketplace. And I think it goes kind of like what Sean was saying earlier. So I think you've got to look at the age range. Right now, America, as I said last time, is getting older. We're living longer. The life expectancy is much longer.
Yeah.
And it's going to increase as time goes on because of the advancements in medical treatment and cures and such. And so as America ages, you're going to continually have an older population as your customer base.
Yep.
And so you really need to look at that and pay attention. Okay, who's using your services? How do I attract those people to continue using my services?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a key part of any business. Without marketing, there's no need for human resources. There's no need for a lot of the other functions of business. Marketing is key, and branding is another key aspect. Making sure your brand is something that people they almost see it before they even see you. They think about it before they think about you. So, for example, with Brandon Rhymes, Realtor, people may not remember my name, but they'll probably remember the Real Estate Quarterback. or the consumer quarterback. So they'll say, I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember his quarterback something.
Right.
And then they can at least put real estate quarterback into the Google or something along those lines, and they'll probably get to me.
That's right.
So it's because there's it's a crowded space, especially attorneys, real estate, mortgage, all those different places. There's so many people competing for the same dollar. You've got to figure out, okay, what's a niche? How do I target my end buyer, my end consumer? What's my brand? Is my branding strong? And then you get into, the aspect of how many, what Sean alluded to earlier, is how many times people are going to see your brand or remember your brand.
Absolutely. And I think you've done a great job here with what you've done. Having the Consumer Quarterback Show, everybody knows who you are. And that is amazing. And
Appreciate
I know you've had to work hard to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much. 7 years on air now, and really excited about a lot of the growth and things happening, and just constantly looking to improve. We've got a brand new team now helping us with the photography side and the videography side, rather. Wide angle lenses in studio, lots of cool things there, and the availability now to have your show syndicated on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. People can find us literally worldwide now and pull it up if they'd like. And see it on vacation if they're vacationing in Italy or France or wherever they are. I bet a lot of people are canceling vacations, of course, still through the pandemic and the lockdown, but that's a possibility.
Absolutely. And I was going to say when Sean was talking about, okay, well, if the number one guy isn't there, I'm going to call the number two guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. Years ago, we didn't have instantaneous replies and communication. If you called somebody, it was normal. You can wait at least 24 hours to return a call. Everything was sent either via a fax machine. That was considered the quick way. Or you were putting it in the mail, which could take several days to get a reply.
Yeah.
Now everybody expects, like if you send an email, they expect an immediate reply.
Yeah, especially a text.
Yes.
Like a text, it's like one of the habits I've kind of made or vowed to do is to stop returning and especially, okay, when I get to a red light, maybe I'll pop down if it's something that's, but if not, hey, wait till I get home, wait till I get back to the office. Especially for emails, but I need to do it more for text too.
Yes.
That's something I've recognized, and I'm going to try to self-improve. But we've got Sean Febre on the line as well. Sean Febre Frameworks, attorney Millicent Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking about marketing, talking about business, and coming up as well, we're going to talk a little bit more about grandparents' rights and custody rights in Florida with Millie. But I want to go back to Sean. Sean, what else on marketing? Anything else did you want to comment on?
Well, I can say that we tried OTT advertising in Jacksonville.
What is that?
OTT is over the top advertising. That's what they call it. Not sure why they call it that. But we did it through Hearst Communications. So Hearst Communications owns, I think it's like 25% of ESPN is how they pitch it. And what they do is you film a commercial, a 30-second spot, and then they target zip codes that you tell them to target. Of course, they have some kind of insight on which zip codes they prefer for you to target.
Yep.
So essentially, every single streaming television, like Hulu or like
Roku,
YouTube TV and Roku, and it used to be like PlayStation View or something like that. When they show the advertisements, you would actually get an impression there. And what they did was they charged us a certain amount of money for 50,000 impressions for a 30-day period. So that 50,000 impressions doesn't hit 50,000 people. What it does is that it hits the same person multiple times, and they were able to target by the Wi-Fi inside the house whether the person was a realtor or not. So they were able to segment it to their professional license, so they could see whether the person was a realtor, a doctor, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting.
And that's how they would target. So they would say, okay, we're going to give each person at least 5 impressions of your commercial for the month.
Got to take a quick break here, Sean. We got to take a quick break. Hang tight with us if you can. Attorney Millicent Athanason, Sean Febre here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our feel-good story of the day coming up as well. Find out about the Carpenter building free virtual learning desk for students. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Johnny, let me know if you want me to continue. All right, everybody stand by, please.
A little bit longer, right? Sean Febre. So you can hang out just a little bit longer, a little bit on this segment.
Yeah, third segment, and then I gotta go.
All right, why don't you just start? We'll just start and wrap, and then we'll finish. That way we can finish with Millie.
Okay, so and then I'll say goodbye, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I can talk about this all day, dude.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We greatly appreciate you. Shout out to our veterans, our first responders, our military, the nurses, the teachers out there protecting us and helping the children learn. We greatly appreciate you. And we do offer discounts for anybody out there looking to buy, sell, or invest that fit those categories. We offer quarter to a half a point discount on real estate, buying, selling, or investing with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions. Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. We've got a great partnership with them. They've been a partner for quite a while now. And Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Say hello to Steven and Lisa Gunnan. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And they're going to hook you up with these vitamin infusion drips directly injected into your bloodstream. And Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show here in Tampa Bay. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here. We've got some properties in Tampa Bay. This one is a new vacant land listing, 5832 Beverly Drive. This one's up in Hudson. It's a waterfront lot available, bay access directly from your lot, and it is a great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. So look at that. It's an interior lot, and you have the Gulf of Mexico on the other side. Beautiful photography, again, compliments of Febre Frameworks. Check out that drone photography, giving you that idea, the lay of the land right there. Kayak, sports fishing, enjoy the Gulf living at its best right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We've got 19206 U.S. Highway 19 North in Clearwater. This is another $1 million listing that we have. This is a Clearwater location right on 19, and it's a commercial building. So it's commercial. Car lot available as well, 19206 U.S. Highway 19 North in Clearwater. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, so we're going to go back to Sean Febre. We kind of had to cut out early there on that last segment. So, Sean, pick up where you left off, what you're talking about on your marketing side.
So just to wrap it up, once they target those people the 5 times, what they are also able to do, once they know the IP address of whatever Wi-Fi or internet service provider that those people are, then they do the same thing that we do with the retargeting ads. They retarget those people using those banner ads on websites. So I know I'm talking a lot about this, so I just want to wrap it up, say, hey, thanks, Brandon, for having me on, and great meeting you, Millie, and look forward to being on the show again.
Okay, awesome. Good stuff, Sean. Good to have you. Sean Febre, talk to him, Real Estate Quarterback Show, longtime contributor, friend of the program. Does a great job. He's got a great team out there servicing most of the state now when it comes to real estate photography, drone shots, aerial photography, and video walkthroughs. So important on the marketing side. And we've got attorney Millicent Athanason here in studio as well. Millie, now when it comes to family law, it's such a challenging part of the equation, the overall divorce rate now is above 50%. So unfortunately, more than 50% of the children out there have to deal with this. A lot of, and it comes down to a lot of the political stuff happening too, because a lot of the political unrest is about, certain groups of the population. And a lot of times it's saying, well, hey, these are kids that grew up without parents or without a father in the household. So this family law side, and then also talking more about the grandparent visitation custody rights in Florida, this affects a lot of people.
It really does, and that's one of the reasons I thought I would bring it up. With the opiate epidemic that came about not too long ago and is still going on, a lot of parents are not able to parent their children.
Yep.
And grandparents have been called upon to step in and take over the reins, if you will.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there hasn't always been in Florida consistent law in the regard of how grandparents can do that, because our Constitution is very specific that basically your child is your child, and grandparents' rights do not take precedence over parent rights.
Right.
Now, the legislature did try, I want to say it was either in the late 90s or early 2000s, there was a statute that when parents were getting divorced, that grandparents could have visitation rights. However, unfortunately, that statute was knocked down as being unconstitutional. So that is no longer available as a mechanism for grandparents to get rights. So there's just a couple of ways to do that. One of the things that I get asked about a lot is when the state has gotten involved, somebody calls DCF, and the children have been picked up and they're now wards of the state, they've been adjudicated dependent. What rights do grandparents have? Well, fortunately, in a situation like that, the state usually makes grandparents a priority, not only as somebody that can be a custodian of the child while the parents are in rehab or whatever the problem was that caused them to be dependent, but also that they can also have visitation rights. And they also have mechanisms now that they didn't used to have, where if a relative placement comes in and takes custody of the child, there's now state benefits available for that. It used to be only that like foster parents or non-related individuals taking custody could get those benefits, but now even relatives can do that because it's expensive to take care of a child, let's face it.
Oh yeah, especially today, things are costing more money.
Yes, and people, I think people that are not parents sometimes live under the fallacy that they're more expensive when they're babies because you see people carrying around all of this equipment. I think just the opposite is true. Having raised kids, they get more expensive as they get older, not when they're babies.
That's right. More demands, more things cost money, pictures and cheerleading stuff and all the different things. Yeah, so it adds up. It adds up.
It really does. And so, now they do have those benefits available. So as long as in a situation where the state comes in, and that's where they've alleged that a child has either been abused, neglected, or abandoned, and the child is adjudicated dependent, and then they either go into foster care or they go into a relative placement while the parent who's given a case plan, usually whatever the reason that the child was adjudicated dependent. So, for example, if it was domestic violence that got the child adjudicated dependent, usually the case plan will be something along the lines that they will have to get a abuse evaluation and go into domestic violence counseling or individual counseling or things like that would be on the case plan. So the case plan is like a list of tasks that they have to do. So during that time, the grandparents usually are afforded visitation rights as long as they've had a consistent relationship with the child or the children.
Right.
And the main thing is, if the case plan says, let's say that the parents are only allowed to have visitation one time a month, I'm making this up as an example, and you as the grandparent who has visitation rights violates that and just says, well, I have visitation today, I'll just invite the parents over and that's okay. You can actually lose your visitation rights for violating what's in the case plan. So you want to make sure that if you're doing it through the state when there's a DCF case, that you're going in line with what the caseworker has worked out with you and not just implementing your own visitation plan as you deem fit. And I'll talk a little bit more about dependency. People think that it's limited to DCF.
DCF is
the Department of Children and Families that comes in. When you call the hotline, the 1-800-96-ABUSE, that's the abuse hotline in the state of Florida, that is who's going to come out and do the initial investigation. And so people think when there's a dependency action that it's typically the Department of Children and Families that is doing that. However, there's a little loophole that most people don't realize, and that is that any individual that has actual knowledge or has been given knowledge and believes it to be true of abuse, neglect, or abandonment can file a dependency petition. And in my practice, I've utilized that because it is a vehicle by which grandparents can seek to get custody rights. If they think that the parents are doing something inappropriate in the house, let's just say they're running a meth lab in the house and having people come over and all this stuff.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, there you go. They can go ahead and file a dependency petition on their own,
right?
Even if the state doesn't get involved, because people naturally assume that the state's going to get involved, and that is not the case. If they feel that there's other family members out there that are kind of on top of the situation, they're going to try not to get involved because their caseload is already sky high.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, because of the nature of the position, you can imagine that the turnover rate for these caseworkers is relatively high.
Yeah, they're probably overburdened just like the public defenders are, just like, a lot of different challenges. And how many athletes, when you think about football too, how many professional athletes do you hear, or even successful, when they're giving their speeches, it's, I want to thank my grandma. Their grandma raised a lot of these kids.
Yep.
And it's because of the broken home and the morals and values that have kind of changed in America, and just our movement away from being more of a God-driven society and morals and values. But yeah, so that's kind of my take. So it's interesting too. So you look at when the state has terminated parental rights, and then so the grandparents have top priority.
Yes.
And then does a aunt or uncle, are they kind of in line? Does it have some kind of hierarchy like that?
Yes, they do look at relative placements usually in consanguinity. So usually it's within the first 5 levels of consanguinity, which is higher than in other areas of the law. So they will look to aunts, uncles, great uncles, whoever is available to take permanent placement of that child.
Yeah.
So that is important. Now the question becomes, what happens if there's not a situation with abuse, neglect, or abandonment, but you've got a situation where, let's say, somebody's being deployed into the military, or some other reason why a parent can't take care of a children and they want the grandparent to take custody of the grandchildren. It used to be in the day people would just sign a little letter, hi, I'm mom and, we're mom and dad, we give grandma and grandpa permission to take custody of little Johnny. Well, that really isn't a bona fide legal document, and it's certainly not secured by a court order. So Florida statutes under Chapter 751 has designed a mechanism for parents to either give concurrent custody, if you will, or shared custody with another relative, or where they can just place temporary custody with another relative.
Okay.
And usually it's by agreement, but it doesn't have to be by agreement. You as the grandparent can go in and ask for it. And as long as you've had care of the children or child for 10 of the past 30 days, and you're a relative within the 3rd degree of consanguinity or by marriage, that would include like step parents and such, then you can go ahead and apply for temporary custody, which is nice. And what that allows you to do, and people don't think much of it, but it really comes up. If you don't have legal custody of a child, how are you going to take the child to the doctor?
Right.
How do you get immunizations? How do you give permission to participate in cheerleading or on the football team or any other extracurricular activity?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you get records and all of that? So people don't think of these things, but they're really important. And so having a court order for temporary custody can really be vital in a situation like this.
Yep.
Now,
let's leave it there. Let's come back. When we come back, we're going to finalize more about this family law stuff, things that are happening here as well, new laws potentially, and also voting, maybe a quick follow-up to some of the voting that we talked about. So stay with us. More from attorney Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. She's one of our great legal analysts for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, consumerqb.com. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty as well, platinummvpteam.kw.com. This segment's brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. Whether you're planning a local or long-distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and they do a great job. They do a lot of our local moves as well, long-distance moves, and they personally moved me, so I can tell you from first-hand experience, they are a first-class organization. They did a great job for our move. Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And a couple of hot properties here in Tampa Bay, 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue in Newport Richey. This is on the river. You got bay access. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis. Almost an acre of land right on the river in Newport Richey. Bay access, 4,100 plus square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, waterfront home, and a great opportunity to buy here in Tampa Bay. We've also got 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O Lakes. This is on Bell Lake. It's a 90-acre ski lake. And 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O Lakes is a development opportunity. The property has entitlements in place. There's 5 lots on the waterfront, and you've got a great opportunity here to purchase and develop land in Tampa Bay. 4214 Peaceful Lane. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so we always end our show by saying we want you to commit a random act of kindness, and we found some folks in California who did just that. This carpenter is building free virtual learning desks for students in need. A carpenter in Lemoore, California, has built dozens of free desks for children in the community. Mitchell Couch has been a carpenter for over 20 years and recently launched a do-it-yourself YouTube channel. In one of his videos, he built a student desk for distance learning. I made this desk out of wood for $20, he wrote. It might just be the easiest desk you can make for your student. Distant learning can be stressful, so let's make this custom desk that one for your child can build together. Do we have any pictures for this one? The local supermarket caught wind of the tutorial and offered to supply materials if the Couch was willing to build more. I have to tell you something about some amazing people in our community. Couch wrote on an Instagram post. The owners of local grocery outlet saw my DIY desk video and asked me if I could make some more for them. I wanted to donate them to the local students, school kids, and who are in need of distant learning. I didn't hesitate to help them out. Couch accepted the challenge, has built 37 wooden desks, and while the requests keep coming in, The students' desks have been distributed free of charge to the students. So there's a cool way to use your DIY skills. Making some desks there, Millie. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool, and I'm sure those kids really appreciate it because everybody's been using their dining room tables. So
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sure the parents must appreciate those desks too.
Yeah, the parents and the grandparents, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah. Think about the grandparents from what we were talking about earlier that are in charge of the children now. And there's like, what's this? What's the internet? What's,
right.
What's all this distance learning? What do you mean by that? And it's tough because you got to keep up for these kids. I know even, in our family, we're having some challenges with that. It's a challenge, even if you are tech astute.
Yes.
And can you imagine, an 80-year-old, 70-year-old grandparent trying to help their young ones?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a learning curve on that one. And I know even some of the teachers are having difficulty with it, even though they've been trained.
Yeah.
They're having difficulty trying to teach live and on the internet at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's challenging all over.
It really is. One of the things that I don't get, they say, the kids use this excuse, I'm using my phone to take notes. So they constantly have their phone in their hand, and then they're typing and pecking, and of course they're probably texting and doing Snapchats and keeping up with social life. So to me, it's just it's a distraction. But they use it. They say, but I'm using it for school. I'm using it for school, Dad.
They could be using it for school, I suppose. I've seen a lot of kids, I know at the collegiate level, they use those iPads to because you can have that little pencil and you can write on there and actually take notes on your iPad.
Yeah.
I don't think the iPhone has that capability yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff. All right, so voting rights. Let's go to voting. You said mail request
in
to mail.
ballots. Yes. We just yesterday was the deadline if you wanted to register to vote in Florida. So if you had never been registered and wanted to register to actually vote, you needed to do that by yesterday. However, you still have until October 24th to request a mail-in ballot. So you could do that and they will send it to you. You have to be careful because it has to be in the supervisor of elections office no later than 7 p.m. on election day, which is November 3rd.
Yep.
So if you get the ballot, you've got to make sure that it either gets to a drop box or to the supervisor of elections office by that time.
Yep.
And you also have to account, because if you're doing that mail-in ballot, your signature has to match the documentation that you utilized when you registered or signed up for the online voting. So if it doesn't, then they've got to send it back to you. And because of the time constraints, you may not have enough time.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that you do that. If you haven't done so already, do it immediately. You could just go online. It's really simple to do.
Yeah, exactly. And they did have a crash. The state had a crash with their system, but I think they've extended the deadline on some of those things as well. All right, so we got just a couple minutes left. Give us your top tips, your nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom when it comes to consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid, ideas that people can utilize to live a better life.
Well, I was gonna, I was talking about the grandparent rights, so I would say that if it's something that you really want to get done with your grandchildren, make sure you approach it and get it in writing and have it court approved if you're going to do that, so that you're not left in the hole. I mean, this also comes for families with military deployments and things like that. You'd be surprised what people forget to do at the 11th hour, and then they're scrambling afterwards, and it can cause a lot of problems. So I would definitely plan ahead if you're planning on departing.
And that's just general great advice as well. I know even realtors, we're coached pretty heavily by our broker because it's easy to get sued. So if you don't have something in writing, and especially when you're talking to a client, sometimes it's, let's say, for example, there's repairs that need to be done to a home.
Yes.
And people just tell you, this, you got to repair that. I want this done. I want that done. And if you're verbally just telling, okay, well, this is what our next step would be. You're trying to get things done, and then you have the closing, and something wasn't done. So the idea would be to recap it in an email. Hey, Susie, per our conversation today, your client wanted this. Our client agreed to that. Here's what we're going to do. Contractor's going to do X, Y, Z. Put it in writing, even if it's a verbal conversation. Put it in writing. That way, you have a follow-up email that you can reference 6, 9, 12 months later.
Absolutely. We call that in the legal profession the CYA letter.
Yes, that's right.
And lawyers, we're big on that.
Yeah,
so,
cover your assets.
Yeah, there you go. and you've got to do it. I mean, if not, like you said, it can lead to a lot of problems down the road.
Yeah, exactly. So being smart, being diligent, making sure you get that protection in place, and because 6, 9 months, 12 months, you're not going to remember it. But if you did send an email, just put the subject, the address in the subject line or the topic, and then you're going to be able to go back and find that in your email.
Absolutely. And nowadays they have all these mailboxes that you can put within your email to kind of segregate the different emails so that you can readily find them if you ever need to go back.
Yeah.
So that's a really good feature too.
Awesome. All right. Find her online, athanasonlaw.com.
Absolutely.
athanasonlaw.com. That's ATHANASON law.com. Always a pleasure, Millie.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community, and continue to tune in and support our show, our local expert contributors. We greatly appreciate you. ConsumerQB.com. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.